McCartney got back live. A once-in-a-lifetime must-see event. Paul McCartney performing a catalogue of music that's formed the soundtracks of our lives. Casey Centre, October 14th. Get tickets now at highvtix.com.
Yeah. What's up? I'm Jake Bren with Bigger Than 12, joined by my co-host Derek Duke, where every Sunday we break down the Big 12 Conference.
We'll recap the full day in the Big 12 and look ahead to next week.
We talk a lot of Iowa State, but it's not just Cyclones. We go from Morgantown to Salt Lake City and everywhere in between. Be sure to check out Bigger Than 12 every Sunday here on Iowa Everywhere.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Murph and Andy talking sports and more exclusively on Iowa Everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios, here are Keith Murphy and Andy Fales.
Let's get it started here on a Monday. It's Murph and Andy, sports and more, alongside Andy Fales and Andrew Downs. I'm Keith Murphy. Andy?
And I'm also in a blue shirt and glasses.
I'm like the older version of you.
Yeah, two guys in blue
hair.
shirts and glasses is the name of this show today, the edition of our show.
All right, let's just start with some transparency, but maybe not full. I overslept today. We got home late again. Gosh, NBC is extending that post-game show. They've added an extra segment, an extra break. Our newscast is now starting at even with no overtime. What time did that start? Like 11:20?
Yeah, it was
late.
It was really. I walked off the What's Bugging Andy said at 11:38.
Okay, yeah, we
night.
finished.
So it was early and sound off, so you had more show to go.
Yeah, we finished around midnight, and then we stay and we do the videos and that stuff. I got home late, and then I made a bad decision because Colin's here. He leaves today. Flight's already been delayed 3 different times, but he leaves today to go back to school in Tempe. And when I got home, he's like, "We need to finish Top Gun."
Let's top. Yeah, I thought you. Yeah, let's tie one on.
Yeah, no. We got to finish Top Gun. So I didn't realize there was more than an hour left of that. So we did finish it. Not that we needed to know how it ends. We've both seen it many times. And then I went to bed, and I didn't set an alarm. I overslept this morning. So I got up, had to scramble so much, I didn't even have time for my coffee ritual. So Colin comes up and says, "You're going to need one of these." I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's a whip."
What?
I said, "A whip?" So it's an energy pouch.
A dip. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no
tobacco?
nicotine, no tar. Yeah. 200 milligrams per pouch.
Wow.
200 milligrams.
Yeah.
And
you got that? You got that between your toes right now?
Right there.
You got a
There it
leopard.
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I believe you. You don't have to. I don't need
200 milligrams, Andy. I'm jamming that up in there.
Here it comes. Yeah. In about 10 minutes, Murph is going to just be percolating.
And the whip caffeine is just coursing through my veins at this point. 200 milligrams. What's that? That's more than coffee, right? 1 cup.
I think coffee is like 90 or something. Is that right?
80. I know
it all depends on the size of the coffee. Yeah, right.
What's your energy drink? You always have one.
This Red Bull is 80 milligrams.
All right, so this is more than double that in 1 pouch. And
yeah, definitely.
They send Colin just boxes of this to occasionally post something on his Instagram or give out to kids at Arizona State.
Give it out to kids.
Yeah,
here you go, kids.
Trick or treating.
Trick or treat.
Yeah.
It's, okay, so hoping that works. But had a great weekend, and sorry about matching appearance. I mean, let's get to the Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines. It sets the table for sports and more coming up. Where's the D? Dolphins Bubbly and AD's Hate Week. That's all ahead on Murph and Andy Guest House Tavern with nightly specials. What is Tuesday's fried chicken night, right?
Yeah, they are not open tonight, but
Tuesday.
That's so they can really load the gun with Kentucky Fried Tuesdays. They have the half off bourbon pours, and you can just indulge on Tuesday nights.
Just
at Guest House.
get the weeks. Yeah, don't even wait for hump day. Get it going Tuesday. All right, let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Logier Heating and Cooling. They have they just send a person here since we put the house for sale. They've been here a few times, and God bless them. They're very patient, professional, and we're happy to have a relationship with them.
Their phone is ringing today. Yeah, temps in the upper 50. That's enough to make everybody go, oh, I better get ready for winter.
Today, temps upper 50s?
Right now they are. Yeah. I think it's like
I haven't been outside.
62 is the high or something it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's chilly. It's raining, and I think that's what made it extra hard for you to get up this morning. I mean, it was dark.
Thank you, Andy.
It was tough. I had to drag myself out of bed.
Who sang "Whip It"? Whip
Devo.
It real good. That's Devo.
That's Devo.
Devo. You haven't watched that documentary, have you?
I did. Yeah, I did watch it. It's more than I cared to know about Devo, but it is. They are definitely deeper than I ever thought. They're really very. They weren't musicians. They were like philosophy students at Kent State University.
Really?
They're very, very smart, techno computer nerds, as you probably guessed that. But I mean, really, really deep thinkers. They were kind of like anarchists too, like
Devo.
Andy, oh yeah. I
Okay.
mean, they didn't go out.
I'm
burn
picturing them
anything in the
with
streets, but
red flower pots on their heads.
yeah, Devo means de-evolution.
Okay.
Is it too easy to make a documentary these days? Like,
They had one hit?
Do we need a documentary for everything?
They did better than that. I mean, they really did have a good career. They had one like mainstream big hit, and
Sure.
but they did have a pretty good career.
Is there a documentary on the Daz Band? Because I think the Daz Band sang
Whip.
"Let It Whip."
Let it whip.
Yeah.
No. Let it whip. Yeah, that's a great song.
Cyclones' perfect season ends in Ohio. Let's get to the Nostalgia Rewind. It's powered by Nostalgia THC seltzers from Barntown Brewing. Iowa State, 14th at the time at Cincinnati. And the first quarter is ugly for ISU as Cincinnati gets out to a 17-0 lead before the Cyclones get on the board.
Back, shotgun snap from the 14. Rocco wants to run it left. Cuts inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown! 14-yard rushing touchdown for Rocco Beck.
All right, that video courtesy of Jake Brand with Cyclone Fanatic, the audio voice of the Cyclones, John Walters, courtesy of Learfield. And Andy, just to go back to that 17, so it's kind of like worst case scenario for fears for Iowa State because you're concerned about losing not just two starting defensive backs, but two all-conference caliber defensive backs. And you think Cincinnati's going to come out and just light up Iowa State with passes, but it's pretty smart strategy, knowing that Iowa State is maybe overcompensating a little bit for losing two key starters in the defensive backfield. Cincinnati just runs it down Iowa State's throat, 216 yards rushing in the first half.
Yeah, it was an alarming start.
Yes.
It was something that I did not think that Iowa State was capable of this year. I thought they were beyond this. I just did not see this coming. I thought that, the defense would be licking its wounds, but then also circling the wagons and really pushing for a really good game here. And they looked they looked like they didn't get off the bus. I mean, really,
right.
let's be honest. I mean, they weren't doing anything well.
No, bad tackling, bad coverage,
terrible tackling, and that's something
discipline.
that they've done so well this year is that they've made tackles. They've fought off blocks, made tackles, made one-arm tackles. I mean, they have done that consistently well this year, and they didn't do that at all in the first half of this game. And they go down 7-0. It's a big crowd, and I'm thinking, okay, it's not that big a deal. Just get back there and stop the next drive. It was like 3rd and 10. Iowa State's defense was starting to click. It looked good. And then Cincinnati completes a pass on 3rd and 10. And that's like the dam broke at that point. They go straight down, get a field goal. Then they go straight down and get a touchdown. And then it's 17-0. And at that point, I thought, okay, Cincinnati is, they've emptied their clip at this point. Iowa State is on red alert now. They know that Cincinnati is going to be really tough. Iowa State scores that touchdown, and you think, okay, here we go. Now we're going to have a game. And then they just immediately go right back to what they were doing before and have a terrible series. Cincinnati goes down and scores again. So, I mean, at that point, I just thought, oh, my God, this is one of those games where it seems like you just get back on the bus and say, all right, we got to forget about this one.
And it was a little bit of a throwback before Matt Campbell and the Cyclones kind of turns a corner where they did win these road games and home games in the margins with discipline, few penalties, few big mistakes, just finding a way to stay in there. But this was the opposite of that. This was like not being ready to go, being out-coached in the first half because their strategy worked. Iowa State was expecting passes, and instead Cincinnati ran, and that worked. And then you throw on top of that penalties. And Iowa State is usually really good, one of the best teams in the country at avoiding penalties, and they kept getting penalties. Now, later in the game, Cincinnati would get even more penalties to help keep Iowa State in it. But as we return to the rewind here, it's 31-7, and looks like it could be one of the worst blowouts Iowa State has had in a long time. But the Cyclones do respond before the half.
There's the shotgun snap. Rocco runs it up the middle, fighting for the goal line.
Touchdown!
He got in. He got in with great effort. Rocco Beck took it in from 4 yards out. Beck takes the shotgun snap and looks left, fires for the end zone, and it is caught for a Cyclone touchdown. An incredible catch by Brett Eskelson. It was a back shoulder throw by Beck. Eskelson spun around and hauled it in.
Yeah, and we should go back in time here to just acknowledge Rocco Beck taking one of the all-time teeth-rattling hits. And the player who did it, number 31, I don't remember his name, but he gets ejected from the game for targeting. And in one of those cases where fans see things through their own lens, I mean, I had a guy that would not stop going back and forth with me about how this was absolutely not targeting. He's a Cincinnati fan, but just was like he did not lead with his head, did not lead with the crown of his helmet, and then he would send me replays and say, like, well, yes, he did. Look right there, and then he would catch a screen grab where after contact his head came up and say, see it, you can see right there, his head is up. But it looked like textbook targeting. It's not something
his
that would have been
avatar is Hawkeye Steve. That's it.
Yeah, it was a Cincinnati fan.
But okay.
10 years ago, it's not targeting. It's just a good stick. But here in this case scenario, and he gets him right in the chest. He leads with his head, hits Rocco right there, and catches some of Rocco's helmet too. And I'm thinking that looks like a hit where the guy doesn't come back from this game. He comes out of the 10. He comes out so fast, they have to stop him and slow him down for a second. Say, hang on. He's one tough QB, man. He is.
Well, let me say this about that play, and let me acknowledge up front that I'm probably wrong about this.
It's a good way to start. Yeah.
The responsible people in the audience will know better here. But as a hockey fan, I was really disappointed in the Iowa State offensive lineman after that play. I absolutely felt like you cannot stand by and watch a guy headhunt your quarterback like that, put that kind of stick on your quarterback and not respond. All right? You got to get in that guy's face and say, you are absolutely not doing that to the most valuable player on this team. I don't care if he's running or what. You're not hitting him like that in front of me, man. And I agree. I think that he should have stood up. Somebody should have stood up right there and say, I don't care if I get a 15-yard penalty and they offset and we don't get any extra yards here. You're not doing that to my guy in front of me like that while I'm on the field. You're not.
Yeah.
Now, they got a 15-yard penalty. The guy got ejected. And if you do that, you respond that way, then maybe that stuff doesn't happen and you don't get that, that extra yard, that extra yardage. And at that point, Iowa State kind of like needed everything that it could get at that point. But that's the hockey fan in me. That will never happen in the game of hockey. You do that to somebody's MVP, somebody's prize centers, prize goal scorer, and there's a big dude out on the ice, that there's a fight right then. And there was an immediate response from that team whose quarterback just got rocked like that. And I like that. I think that would have given us a spark at the time. But look, keeping their hands in their pockets, that did ultimately benefit Iowa State. But I wanted that, and I was upset that didn't happen.
You wanted the tone setter. I don't care if Sophie Cunningham has to come over from the sideline and get in there and mix it up. That's what, like, the Fever were missing last year. When your franchise takes a cheap shot, you got to jump in. I mean, that's a rule I know it is in hockey and it happens every time, but that's a rule with brothers. That's a rule with football.
Yeah.
You got to jump in and send a message there.
And sometimes
Matt
it backfires.
Campbell probably disagrees with us there.
Sometimes it backfires. Yeah, there's no doubt. But, I just think that should have happened right there. And, look, Sophie Cunningham, her response was kind of twofold, right? I mean, not only was it, a response to what happened to Caitlin Clark, but it was also a response to all the shit that the refs were not calling.
Yes.
Well, this game didn't have that problem. I mean, there were so many penalties called.
It was like a 7-hour game.
Oh my God. What did Cincinnati had 13 penalties. I mean, it just went on and on. And they really did get penalized a lot, and they got penalized there, as they should have been. But I just felt like that. I wanted to see that out of an Iowa State team that at that point didn't look like they had enough fight in them.
Yeah, and you don't watch this game and say, well, the refs were trying to give the game to Cincinnati, because the Cincinnati was drawing more penalties than Iowa State was. It was a factor. Another thing that I did like from Iowa State, though, because they didn't look ready to go, didn't look ready for the first half, especially the defense, which was surprising. But the second half, the Cyclones really showed some fight to stay in this game and to get back in it. I mean, they after a disastrous defensive first half, adjustments were made at halftime, and Cincinnati didn't score one touchdown in the second half.
Yeah. And before you go farther with that, I just want to set it up. I thought that against a Cincinnati team that maybe that would be okay. There's half of me that's ready to turn the game off, and the other half is holding out for this. I thought, that happens, and I don't think Cincinnati's a great team. Clearly, they're good, but that happens sometimes where you have a team that they walk out there and like everything's working for their offense, and they just blow up in the first half, and everything's working, and they tend to sit back on their laurels and be like, oh man, geez, just everything. It's almost like they don't need to try anymore. And I thought that could be Iowa State's window, because I think Iowa State is a better team than Cincinnati, but they clearly weren't that day. And I thought there was a chance that Iowa State could kind of come in under the radar there and close the gap in this game and then beat them straight up and down once their team was playing the way it should have.
Nearly happened. Cincinnati does get one second half touchdown, and Iowa State keeps plugging away, trying to make a game of it.
And Beck wants to throw, fires right for Sowell. He has it, and he's in for the touchdown. Chase Sowell, a 3-yard touchdown. Boy, did he have some big catches on that possession.
38-30 was the final after one last gasp effort for Iowa State that ended in bizarre fashion, because you have to score or the game ends, and Bramer just runs out of bounds. I don't know if he wasn't aware that there wasn't any time left. You can't run out of bounds. It's a really low percentage play, but you have to keep throwing it back and trying.
Well, and then the prior series where they, still needed 2 scores, and clearly not having a kicker kind of forced their hand. They needed to go for it on 4th and 1, which was like a full yard. It was a bad spot.
Yes.
But then they just came out with a pop gun and got nothing on that play. And then you're just like, at that point, like, okay, this is over. And it kind of wasn't over, but it pretty much was.
Yeah, the kicking thing is a big deal in this game.
Yeah, right here. What was up with that call?
Yeah.
Yeah, and several times, even in the first half, Iowa State's offensive strategy, as Taylor Mouser said it would be a couple of weeks ago moving forward without Conradi, he said, yes, that will change our strategy at times because you've got this guy that's just nails from 50 to 60 yards, and now you don't have him. You don't have your backup kicker either. So clearly the Cyclones went for it on some downs where if they had on fourth downs where if they had Conradi, they would have kicked the field goal there, but they had to go for it and it didn't work well for them. And that was one more factor in picking up that first loss of the season. Here is Matt Campbell and Rocco Becht talking about that first loss.
You'll play any game, anytime, anywhere with that quarterback. I mean, what Rocco's about, what he stands for, grit, toughness, character, all those things still matter in our sport, and it's why we were there at the end of the football game to have a chance to win it.
I'm aching, but I feel great right now. Everybody's heads are up. Like I said, I'm just proud about this team. I'm going to leave this stadium, go back home with a smile on my face because I know that we showed fight today, and we're going to continue to show fight and win games in following games.
He's one tough dude. He had more than 300 yards passing. Matt Campbell, on a Matt Campbell scale, was a little bit edgy in that post game. Not as friendly with some of the questions as he usually is. This is not by any means a season ender. It's not like the guy said on Sound Off last night that ends the college football playoff hopes. It doesn't, but it makes the margin for error to get to the Big 12 championship game much more difficult, and the schedule has some challenges ahead.
Well, as we talked about on Friday, I was feeling really good about the Cyclones, and I was feeling like 10 wins, and I feel like this effort brings to light some things that almost make this like a 2-loss loss for me, where I don't now I feel like they're an 8-win team. I just didn't think that they had that type of a performance in them. And then you're also just reminded of all that you've lost when you lose, not just Kyle Conradi, but also the backup kicker as well. I mean, they've lost 2 kickers. When was the last time?
And 2 really good cornerbacks.
Yeah,
and they
2
they
really good cornerbacks.
Impacted that defensive plan more than losing the linebackers did last year. So I think it was natural for Cyclone fans and even people observing like us to say, well, they went through this last year. It still won 11 games, losing all those linebackers. But these 2 defensive backs, and then Conradi, that just changes your strategy. They went for it on some fourth downs, did not succeed in some spots where they should have and would have kicked if they were able.
Yeah, they were rough on third and fourth down in that game. I just, the corners, you're talking about the passing game. When's the last time they played that badly against a running game? I mean, that was the defense. I mean, the blame goes equally across all parts, across all the stars of that defense. I mean, they did not have a good game, and I just did not think they had that in them. And now I look ahead at games like Colorado, and I wonder. Iowa
State, a 5-point favorite. By the way, speaking of tough, Deion Sanders is pretty tough too, man. He's out there in one shoe coaching. He's having more problems with those blood clots, and he plans to coach this weekend against Iowa State.
He's got a porta potty on the sidelines.
I know that dude. He'll do what it takes.
Yep.
That is the Nostalgia Rewind presented by Barntown's Nostalgia THC Fruit Seltzers. It's another night game announced for Iowa. I believe this makes 8 out of the past 11 for the Hawkeyes. Once unthinkable. Penn State, reeling Penn State, at Iowa on Peacock. That's announced today. All right, I think that's a 6 p.m. game, which is more reasonable than the 7 p.m. But another night game for the Hawkeyes, and it could be the weather might actually be cool at that time. Who knows? Let's get a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale.
Let's see. Your college football team had to pick one for all games. You would choose day games or night games?
I would absolutely pick day games at this point, but I think night games have been so common now that my answer would have been different 10 or 20 years ago when just the thought of a night game was the coolest thing because it was so rare. But now I'm thinking more of the mind of how how late you get back and how the day seems too long and everything. It's like you have to give your entire day up just to college football, and that's hard for some people. So I'd take day games now.
Yeah, it's hard not to look at this question through the eyes of a retired man in Florida, right? You're just like, oh, that's awfully late. That's a lot of time away from my home bathroom. I mean, honestly, I can't not look at this from the perspective that I have now, which is as of somebody who works on Sundays, somebody who used to work on Saturdays and knows how difficult this is on a sports department to put on a night game. And I also just like to do a little more with my day than dedicate it the whole thing to the football game. I mean,
I wish I had done more with my day today.
I mean, for the most part, it's like Saturday is our only real full day off. So if it's a night game, I mean, you can't do anything really before that. I mean, you go over early and you're there pretty much all day, and then you get back really late at night. I like the setup of a Saturday day game. I like the 2:30 kickoff. I like having a little before, spend some time after, and I just think that is college football. I mean, that's the way I view it in my head. When I think college football, it's during the day.
Yeah, and night games were special because you got one or two of them a year. They were usually big games. You had a big opponent coming into Kinnick Stadium. You know, that's great. Penn State, Iowa should be a night game. Like that's
have
awesome.
a blackout, do all that, or have the black and yellow sections, all that
but
stuff.
But it shouldn't be the 9th night game of the last 11 games. You lose the specialness when it's this common.
And
so
everybody can
games,
everybody can see it for what it is. It's not with any thought of, I think the Hawkeye fans would like a night game, or boy, I'll bet Penn State would prefer to be at night after that long travel. It's just absolutely the network's picking the best possible game they can get, and they have a pecking order to it. So when they draft, and they take the games, and you took the money, so you have no say. Iowa, Penn State, anyone, you do what the networks tell you to do. And like we talked about last week, this Iowa State-Cincinnati game is an example of this. The Iowa State-Cincinnati game would be getting to halftime about the time Central or Simpson or Drake or Grandview would be done the entire game. That's how long these breaks are. And Sunday Night Football is going down this road too. Jeez, Andy, it just feels like the game ends. And then what is that, about another half hour before they're finally done?
Yeah, it was a half an hour. It was to the
so
point
bad.
where Tirico and Collinsworth just like, it looked like they just didn't have anything else to say.
They were talking about Tigers baseball, and then
have you seen the new menu of the Chi-Chi's? I mean, they brought back those frozen margaritas, and
you talked to your
I
cousins lately?
Yeah,
Andy, I think I'm starting to vibrate. I think I need to take this whip out. All right, I said take this whip out. I should be really careful with the wording.
Let me whip this out.
Hey,
whip out this whip.
What are the supplement facts
Excuse me
on this?
while I whip this out.
200 milligrams in a pouch. That just seems like a really bad idea. This is mint flavor, but
Did it taste good?
Yes, it did. It was mint
like
flavored. It's just pure caffeine. I don't know if it's still there, but on your desk over at WHO 13, there's a big bottle of caffeine tablets, and that always took me back to college days when you have to do like a all-nighter to study for an exam, and you'd go to the no-dose or the caffeine tablets.
Yeah, no-dose. That was
Can't
the
be
only
good
one.
for you.
No, it can't. I needed those. I used to have to take those at 10 a.m. every morning just to make it through the day. But yeah, big, fat 500 milligram pills.
Those are 500 milligrams?
It's a 500 milligram pill. I don't know how much of that is caffeine. There's some filler in there, too. I don't know exactly what cellulose or whatever.
Let me try putting in 2 of these at the same time. No, I'm just kidding. Let's get high or low since the last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Yeah, Tim Hawkins runs that place, Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax, and he's a truly good man who has your best interests in mind, whether you want to set up your retirement accounts now, whether you're well into those and starting to think about taking money out of them soon. He can give you the best advice. You can find him at wealthcharterretirement.com. Well, I'm going to go with a high here, although it was a really surreal feeling. Elon, my my 14-year-old daughter had her first homecoming dance on Saturday. So it was homecoming day for Valley High School or night. So
Kahala and Elin just look lovely, and look at you out here just in the bare feet.
Well, my outfit is by Kaburski Brothers Lawn Care.
You've been outdressed in this photo, something terrible.
Yeah, and Kahala has her responsible mom dress on. So we were. I was not quite prepared for the photo, but that's all right. It's not about me. It's about Elin, and she's getting all grown up. Not a whole lot of material, but even less of a date. There were no dates. It was just a bunch of girls that went together. And a lot of cases, I'm looking through other people's pictures from homecoming, a lot of boys going by themselves as well. And by the way, right now, the high school boys headed to dances these days are all dressed like Mark Ratner from Fast Times in Ridgemont High when he was working at the movie theater. What is going on with it? No jacket, a white or black shirt, and a little clip-on bow tie. Like, Murph, you wore this outfit when you worked at the movie theater, right?
Yes, I did, with a vest. When I was usher, it was a black vest. But if you worked in the concession stand at AMC, that was a red vest.
Oh, okay. Well, these guys, some of them do the vest, some don't. And I'm just like, what? Where's your jacket, man? And they're all dressed like they're a maitre d' at Pizza Hut in the 70s.
Yeah, this is a lot of black on black.
I know, that's such
only a couple of white shirts in that whole lineup.
Bad look. I don't, but I mean, the day that it'll be a kind of a dark day when the dads agree with the outfit choices made by their teenage boys.
I like Elin. Look, she looked, beautiful. It was wonderful to see her. She's growing up and everything. She's dressed appropriately. And I just remember that first homecoming experience with Cade when the dad came up to us and said, make sure your boy behaves with my girl tonight. And he was kind of joking, but it was really uncomfortable conversation. And as he's walking away, Jenny just says, maybe a little too loud, but under her breath, yeah, why don't you make sure your daughter pulls that skirt down over her cooch? Because that dress was
They're short, man. Those dresses are
really short.
Oh, my God.
And, they're pulling it the whole time because they realize it's short and they could barely walk without their buns hanging out. It's like, when did this hit high school?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while, but it is weird. I mean, the girls are all dressed like that, and then the boys just are dressed like shit. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, they don't look. That
hasn't changed.
They look terrible, but
my mustache would enter the room before I did. You're like, whoa, look at that.
It just seemed like when I was a kid, when I was going to these dances in high school, I was dressed like my dad. Right. I mean, I had a sport coat and slacks and a tie that I probably was my dad's tie. I don't think I had owned any actual ties.
I borrowed my dad's shoes. I think they were patent leather, like something Cousin Eddie would wear.
Yeah, there was a short time where my dad and I wore the same size shoe, and I would wear his shoes, even though they were too wide. I'd have to wear like 2 pairs of socks with them. But now I'm like, if Eddie's dressing like this in a few years to go to one of these homecoming dates, I'm like, my dad would always make a comment about my outfit. Always. He just, even if it was like kind of close to him, he'd be like, what are you wearing those pleated slacks for? He'd say that. He'd be like, man, how can you wear slacks with pleats? They look like they don't fit. Like they're gathered in, like one of an umbrella and a tiki drink.
The harshest criticism my dad ever gave me, and it stung so much I undid it that same day. I came back from college my freshman year with a perm, and everybody was getting perms.
What'd your dad say?
He just said, what made you do that to your hair? And I said,
it's about as nice of an insult as you could come up with.
Yeah. And I said, well, it's the thing. Everybody's getting perms. And he said, well, you might want to rethink it. And I was crushed because he was a sweet man.
Yeah, everybody's getting polar bears as pets. It doesn't make it a good choice.
So I got that, whatever. It's the worst thing you can do for your hair, that activator, whatever it is that undoes the curls. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
So now you've had a perm one day and a de-perm the next day. That's probably why my hair looks like this now. I probably killed it.
So you basically took a humidifier and a dehumidifier and put them in the same room.
Yeah, I did.
With your hair.
Makes no sense. Right. Those are the times.
Jeez.
This is the show. Murph and Andy, thank you for being with us. It's sports and more. I'm going high, just Football Friday primetime, of which, Andy, you're an important part of. With Justin here. The weather was so nice Friday night at Ankeny. We just set up our press box outside because the one that's on the visitor side is so small that Justin and I can't even really fit in the same room together. So we just set it up outside, and that was great. And you were terrific, as you always are, on the sidelines. And Ed was there before the game, just hanging out with my friends. And then what you want more than anything is just a good game. Oh. And Johnston and Ankeny, 2 top 10 teams, probably top 5 teams. That was a great game. And Johnston ends up winning it. And it was it was our final Football Friday primetime game of the season, number 6, if you can believe that. We're already 6 weeks into the high school football season. But that was fun. And I was just proud to be a part of it. And glad that after two of the least competitive games we've ever had, back-to-back running clocks, we end the season in Dallas Center, Grimes, and Ankeny with back-to-back final minute games.
Yeah, a couple of classics. I couldn't agree more. I just, you guys have to talk the whole time, but there's a lot of times where I'm watching the game. And I have, I have you guys on in my ear, of course, but I'm kind of watching the game and then listening to your play-by-play and color analysis as I'm watching the game. And it truly feels like an NFL game, a big-time game. I mean, it's really become a great production. I'm so proud to be a part of it. I feel lucky to be a part of it. I thought, well, you guys do a fantastic job, but I also just felt like, production-wise, it was a really well-done game. We got Joe Ducell, who's the best director that we've got in the building at WHO. Bill Pearson, who's the production director, and he's fantastic at his job. And just like all the way down to the final interviews where we would have these stars of the game sitting there talking with you on camera, and Bill is just rolling one highlight after another in front of these kids, and they're watching themselves score these amazing touchdowns. They've got these big smiles on their face, and it's just really cool that, like, right in the moment, right after the game, they're able to walk us through these plays that they're watching on TV for the first time. So it's like this genuine first honest reaction. I just all the way down to
it's so cool. Yeah. It's great. Drones and steady cams this year just keep adding something. And it's fun. It makes me proud. It's a lot of work, but a lot of people do a great job to make that happen. And one of the things that always strikes me, and it did again this week, is until the players come over, and usually go grab a couple of players to bring over for the interview right after the game, until they come over, I forget how young they are. And then they take the helmets off and you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. 16, 17 years old, because just watching a game, it looks similar to, watching a college football game or even an NFL game. And then you see, oh, these guys they're still kids. They're truly just kids. But that was, it was a fun season. Interact on YouTube. On X, it's Murph_Andy. The email is Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. All powered by the Cellular Advantage. Andy, I didn't ask you got the new iPhone 17 there at the Cellular Advantage. Did you go with the orange like I did, or did you pick a different color?
I got the Midnight Blue.
Midnight Blue.
Yeah, I like that song.
All right, Midnight Blue.
I just know I thought it was a cool looking color. It wasn't black, which is what I usually get. I'm very happy with it. Got all the little new phone bugs worked out, and it's perfect now.
I'm blown away by the zoom on the 17. Oh, yeah. We are finally to the point where you could go shoot a football game with the iPhone 17 and do it like this instead of the vertical, do the horizontal. You could shoot the whole game because you can now zoom all the way across the field.
Have you cracked into like all the new features on the camera there? I've just kind of been doing it over the weekend.
Somebody has to tell me.
There's a lot to it, man. This is a really sophisticated camera.
Iowa is at Wisconsin this week. It's another night game. And that brings us to a new feature, 1 week only, Hate Week with AD.
Yeah, I got a little story today to kind of give people an insight as to why I hate Wisconsin and the people of Wisconsin so much. I'll take you back to the fall of 1999. I just turned 17. I was living in Wisconsin, and my dad had gotten tickets to a Bears-Packers game for me and my older brother. My older brother's probably 21.
You're very excited.
Yeah, he's a Packers fan. I'm a Bears fan. Well, like a month earlier, I had broken my leg playing football, and so I'm on crutches. I have a cast, and I'm on crutches, and I'm wearing my Cade McNown jersey. He had just been drafted. He was the next Bears quarterback. That didn't work out, but and it was the Bears weren't very good, but they had kept it close. They took a late lead, and then the Packers line up for a game-winning field goal, and just like the Raiders a couple of weeks ago, the Bears block the field goal and win the game as time expires.
Wow.
I don't go nuts. I cheer like anybody would. And all of a sudden I get hit in the head with like an empty cup. Mm-hmm. And then there's an empty nachos container, whatever those fat people eat in those stands up there. I'm just getting rained down, trash thrown at me. So my brother has to escort me out of the stadium. I'm a 17-year-old kid on crutches getting trash just thrown at me in Lambeau Field as I try to take cover and get out of that stadium. So I don't feel bad when I say I hate people in Wisconsin because they're truly awful people. They're terrible. So that's my story for today.
But your parents are Wisconsinites.
Yeah, they're
and
good.
Like your grandparents and like the rest
so
of your
there
family.
You acknowledge there are some exceptions to the awfulness of Wisconsin.
But generally, as a people, awful.
Generally.
All right, AD. He has another story coming up Wednesday. That is Hate Week with AD. More hot topics. I need somebody to give me a little more detail on this because I didn't look it up this morning. What the hell happened with Mark Sanchez?
It's all up in the air right now, it feels like.
Okay, he was in jail.
So
he was in the hospital. He had been stabbed. That sounded awful. And then details start to emerge. And then the next thing you know, yes, he is in the hospital having been stabbed, but he's also facing charges. And they're waiting for him to be released from the hospital so they can take him to jail, which they do. And then the guy that he stabbed is in like his late 60s and is a truck driver. I mean, what is going on?
I thought he was older than that, but yeah, he
looks worse
what I understand
than Mark Sanchez.
Is Sanchez was drunk. He got in this guy's face because he was backing his box truck into a delivery alley, right? Is that
he was
He's doing his job.
Yeah,
right?
He picks up grease from the restaurants, like those grease traps. And apparently he was blocking where Sanchez was or wanted to park.
Yeah, let me throw a blanket allegedly over this whole conversation.
So Sanchez,
according to the police report,
confronts the guy or goes after the guy. The guy had a knife on him, and to defend himself, he pulls the knife, ends up stabbing Sanchez a few times.
And what is Sanchez doing in the alley? Why is he in an alley where a guy's picking up grease traps?
He's drunk. We know that.
Is he parked back there? For some reason he's got a problem with the guy in his way.
Yeah.
And then,
but I saw a report
going down,
where the bartender who kind of helped Sanchez comes staggering to a bar having been stabbed, and the guy brings him inside and calls 911. And the guy, he couldn't understand. He said he was slurring. He couldn't he was clearly pretty hammered.
Wow. Bizarre story.
Thankfully he's alive.
And a costly one for Mark Sanchez. I don't know if he was fired, but he has to immediately be replaced in the NFL game. And I believe that's Hassel's buddy, Brady Quinn, who takes over for Sanchez. And to their credit, the network that employs Mark Sanchez did acknowledge this. Is he on CBS now? It's hard to keep track of. He's on Fox. Okay. So they talk about the incident. They don't get into details, but they do acknowledge it, which is the smart thing to do, because Andy, we've seen when something happens and people don't acknowledge it, it just makes the outcry louder.
Yeah, it there are details that are still kind of coming to light, and so you have to kind of be careful about saying too much, and you want to hear the whole story. That's always the most important part. But It's just a really ugly incident. I would say this is something that nobody's ever going to forget, but this is America. There's always a crazier story or a new tragedy that's just around the corner, and we will forget about it. I mean, I'm shocked at the national stories that I forget about.
Me too, because there's always another one right in behind it. And this is a case where I could see this being Mark Sanchez coming forward and saying, I wish I could provide you more details, but I really don't even remember. Clearly, I have a drinking problem, and this was the tipping point for me to get help. I need help because that's not me. I shouldn't behave that way. This shows me I can't drink like that, and I'm going into blah, 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 and I'm going to have blah done. And then you have a path back because we like a redemption story. And,
you want them to take full responsibility for sure. And sometimes when people pull out the drinking problem card, it seems like they're blaming it on this, but that is a legitimate problem. And we all have somebody in our lives, some friend who has like no entrance ramp to drunk highway, like they're sober and then they're shit faced, like immediately. We know people like that. He's a grown man. He's an adult. He's had plenty of life to learn that he's got that problem, and he just cannot put himself in those kind of positions. And my God, this is a physical altercation.
And you could have easily died. You're talking about stabbing into the torso.
Older man who's doing a job. It's just a really ugly
story. A bad look. I mean, it is one way to get attention off the butt fumble, but I don't think this is the way to go. Let's check in. Let's check in on the 1972 Dolphins today. That didn't take long. The only perfect team in NFL history will remain at least another year. It seems really unlikely. We're now going to get a perfect all the way through the season. The Patriots came close but lost the Super Bowl. We're like 5 games into the season, and there are no unbeaten teams left. The Broncos beat the Eagles, the Super Bowl champs, and the shocker last night, Sunday Night Football, the Patriots beat the Bills in Buffalo.
Eagles lost in Philadelphia. I mean, to the Broncos, and I was shocked by that. I was too. Another reminder of the parity in the NFL that makes it so great. Teams are capable of winning every week, right? And sometimes it seems like that's not true, but there are weeks like this that remind, the Patriots aren't terrible. The Broncos aren't terrible.
Yeah, Patriots are getting better for sure. And Drake May looks good.
Yeah, but the Bills and the Eagles look like they'd be in the Super Bowl, and now you're not so sure. But, this is ultimately, outside of Philadelphia and Buffalo, this is what people love about the NFL.
Anybody can win on any given Sunday. That probably ruins some survivor pools there, too. Big day for Cyclones in the NFL. That's a good little lift after the Cincinnati loss. Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson with the Texans both score their first NFL touchdowns, career touchdowns. Hutchinson had 2. David Montgomery passed for a touchdown in front of his sister, who was able to see him play for the Lions for the first time. And Sam Laporta, not a Cyclone, a former Hawkeye, but he scored a touchdown for the Lions as well. And who do we have here? This is
some Ravens
and Texans.
All the Cyclones in that game.
Yeah, wow.
That more than, well, boy, there's so many different ways to go with the changes in the 10 years of Matt Campbell. But John Sears and I were talking about this last night. We got, Montgomery and Hutchinson and Noel, and you can remember the days where it was rare to have a Cyclone doing anything in the NFL. And now you can have like multiple guys on the same Sunday. That is a significant change. The Hawkeyes have been steady throughout the Kirk Ferentz era with NFL football players, but this is a new thing for Cyclone fans, and it's fun. It makes it fun.
It's more of a connection to the league, to certain teams. It's great for kids.
Browns lose with another starting quarterback. This time it's Dylan Gabriel. And look at this, Andy, since 1999. These are no Browns quarterback has won a game in his debut. Look at all those losses. Look at all those names.
Look at all those names, right? That's what really strikes me.
Is there anybody on that list, AD or Andy, you don't even remember?
Spurgeon Wynn, I don't remember. Charlie Fry. Spurgeon Wynn. Charlie Fry, I don't remember.
Thad Lewis.
Yeah, Thad Lewis, I don't remember. Connor Shaw, I don't remember. Cody Kessler, I don't remember.
Kevin Hogan.
I think
there's a bunch of guys. There's as many guys. There are more people that I don't remember than ones that I do.
I think Spurgeon Wynn was drafted ahead of Tom Brady.
2000, yeah, that'd be right in the era. Jeez. Well, wasn't everybody drafted ahead of Tom Brady?
That is something. The Cardinals, Imari DiMarcardo, 76-yard touchdown. Nope. Drops it at the, what is that? The half foot line, the inch line. In real time, it always looks like the person has crossed. This happened to the Colts. You just can't believe it keeps happening, but it does. In real time, it looks like he's a couple of yards beyond the goal line, but then they slow it down, and sure enough, it's out of his hand, or at least coming out of his hand before the line.
Is there something cool about that? Is that like riding your bike with no hands? I mean, is that what it is, where you just daring, just dare to drop the ball the moment that you cross the goal line? Do they get extra style points for that? I don't feel like I was in on that conversation, but
it doesn't feel like it should be a rush at all. And
no,
coaches say get 5 yards pass before you do anything.
Like base jumping or something. I was at Farrell's this morning.
I was sleeping,
working out with a guy named Gary, who's there pretty often, and he pulled me aside and he was like, "Oh man, that damn Cardinals Titans game last night." He was in like a league where he's in a fantasy league, or he's in some betting circle where, you get a certain game each week and you bet on that game. And he had been perfect so far this season. And it's just like a straight up betting on him to win, no points, anything like that. And he had this game, and he picked the Cardinals, and
they were up like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. He's like, I thought I completely had this in the bag. I mean, I just checked out on the whole thing, and I was going to be the only one in the league who was still perfect. And then that happens. It swings it all back the other way, and now I'm not perfect anymore.
Texas and Penn State were 1-2 in the preseason AP Top 25. Texas 1, Penn State 2. Neither school is in the top 25 now, which is just stunning. I give AP Top 25 poll voters credit for this, because I thought they would probably be somewhere in the 20s, but neither has beaten a Power 4 football team, and we're in October. You can't have them in the top 25. They'll be back in, I think, but that's incredible. Iowa State down 8 spots to 22, but that's UCLA beating Penn State. That is James Franklin's worst loss, and it comes right after that disappointing loss to Oregon in overtime. And now in a year where people are ready for them to take that next step, it's going to be tough to take. They're going to have to be perfect the rest of the way to get to the playoff.
It doesn't seem like we're in an era of pay for play where it seems like this is really hard to understand how in the world this happens, right? I mean, how in the world?
Yeah, Texas and Penn State are loaded
with everything.
Yeah, they got everything they need.
Talent, money, gigantic stadiums full of fans. I mean, just overflowing.
Arch Manning has not been good. Not only has he not been Heisman Trophy caliber, he's just not been good, especially against the better teams. And Penn State just wasn't ready to play. Now, James Franklin went to the travel excuse of going west that we've heard from Lincoln Riley going east, and we know this excuse, but I don't want to hear it. I mean, if you're going to take these millions of dollars and blow up college football as we know it and completely end a conference that had been around for 100 years, the Pac-12 or Pac-8 or Pac-10, whatever Pac it was at the time you think of it, and you're going to do all that just for the greed of money for bigger games and more network games and all that. I don't want to hear the complaints about the travel. This is what these schools signed up for. They agreed to do this. I get that the coaches don't get to make that decision, But don't take all this money. Don't take the $85 million media payout, which is more than double what the Big 12 teams get, and then bitch about the travel. This is what you signed up for. Deal with it.
Yeah, and, it's just one of those kind of petty things that you're like, you're talking about a couple of hours, right, of sleep. I mean, you can get there early.
Yeah, Oregon just went the other way and beat your ass.
Yeah, right. You know that it's sooner or later it's going to be on the other way. Yeah, right. It's going to go the other way, and you're going to have to sit there and say that the time difference doesn't make any difference. But I don't know. It's just I can't imagine being an Uber donor in one of those fan bases. Right. Man. Where you do feel like you are above that, right? You deserve that. You are entitled to that. You put that much money into a program like that. You feel like you are entitled to be in the national championship hunt for the entire season.
And James Franklin had a challenge this week, and that is to get his guys ready to play and to take a bad UCLA team seriously. And then you get into that stadium, and there's nobody there. I mean, it's almost like you're playing a scrimmage. It looks like Iowa's spring scrimmage. I mean, that's what the stands look like. Each person can have their own section. And that is a challenge when you're used to playing in front of 110,000 people that are screaming their lungs out. But that's part of his job, and part of the reason he makes $10 or $12 million a year is he needs to have them ready to go.
And the parity argument that we make in the NFL, that doesn't apply to college football.
No.
There's no salary cap there.
No.
Teams can be they can be in the same conference and can be completely lopsided.
Speaking of disappointments, Clemson, a top 5 team to start the season, has struggled, but Clemson crushes North Carolina. And the Bill Belichick Tar Heels are losing to Power 4 teams by an average of nearly 30 points. This is not working at all. It's been some PR embarrassment for North Carolina. People still got excited about the start of the season, but now, I don't know, that increasingly as time goes on, it's hard not to pay attention to Bill Belichick with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick without. I mean, he has a losing record when Brady's not his quarterback.
Well, and you wonder where this ranks in the annals of great coaches who stayed too long, right? Or went. They tried to hang on to their past too long. I mean, he's trying several different ways.
He's a great defensive mind, but no NFL team would take him. That's how he ended up at North Carolina.
And he didn't need to do anything else. I mean, he already had an incredible, unmatched legacy established, cast in stone. Just walk away. Go play golf. Go take your girlfriend shopping. Yeah, right. I mean, he didn't need to take another coaching job.
Major League Baseball playoffs continue. Last night on Sound Off, 90% of people said they were watching more football than Major League Baseball. I don't think that's a surprise. The Blue Jays are just smashing the Yankees. The Blue Jays have scored about 90 runs in 2 games. And one other note before we move on here, just because it's interesting. It's being widely reported that Nafisa Collier has canceled her scheduled meeting this week with WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Mm-hmm. And Fee Collier already has a conflict of interest here. She's the co-founder of Unrivaled, which you could make the argument stands to benefit if there's a strike or lockout with the WNBA. Now, Caitlin Clark has already said she's not playing in Unrivaled this year again, or at least Front Office Sports reported that. But Andy, I have backed Collier in her she actually upstaged the championship series with that press conference. It was the biggest talker of the week by far for the WNBA. But if you're going to put the commissioner on blast like that, I think you have to go sit down with her face to face and be accountable for that. I don't like canceling the meeting.
I agree completely. You and I have kind of already talked about this, and I think we're totally on the same page here. First of all, Kathy Engelbert should have answered Collier right away.
Yep, and she should have picked up the phone and called Caitlin Clark and cleared that up.
Immediately. on both counts, and met with them both, and proposed a meeting with each one of them individually, and said, I regardless of what happens to me at the end of the season, we need to clear this up now, because she is now saying some of the things that we were wondering if she was thinking last week. She's saying that her words have been mischaracterized by Fia Collier, and I didn't say some of those things. I need to say that right away, immediately, as soon as that came out. The entire country is talking about that for 3 or 4 days before you hear anything from Kathy Engelbert. So she should have done that. But then, Fia Collier, you can't make all those. You can't throw those bombs and then have the person come say, hey, I want to talk to you about this, and then say, well, no, I don't want to talk about it. No. Especially when throw a bomb and you throw bombs and run, you don't accomplish anything. You make yourself look like a coward, is what you look like. You look like somebody who, unless you are controlling the environment, controlling the room, the situation, the crowd around you, you can't actually back up your words. You can't actually have a conversation about this. You can't have it go both ways, right? You can only have it go one way, right? You're doing the talking, and it's your crowd and your people, and nobody's questioning you on this. It's like, if you can't have it come back the other way, if you can't have a conversation about this or a debate about this, you lose credibility.
It sounds like confrontation avoidance.
It does. And or just like somebody who's afraid of being corrected, right?
Yeah. And Nafisa Collier has credibility, and she's a much respected player, but she also has a role here. She is representing the players.
Yep.
She's representing the players in negotiations. So that person needs to meet with the commissioner. Maybe we'll find out there's more to this than we realize. And Kathy Engelbert has to step down at some point. I know she's done some positive things, but if you don't have the intuition after Collier comes out and says those things to pick up the phone and clear things up with the single most important person in the WNBA by far, Caitlin Clark, there's no debating that. You have to call her. I would even get on a plane and go meet with her, especially if you're going to say, I did not say those things. I don't know why Nafisa thinks that, but that's not what I said. Here's what I meant. I shouldn't have been talking out of school, period. And Collier is taking a private conversation public, which I'm not a huge fan of, but she felt it necessary. But if you do that, now you got to go stand by it as you talk to Engelbert. So I hope those two sides can meet. Confluence, the official beer of Murph and Andy. Confluence, serving the new light lager, Old Tavern, and coming off Oktoberfest. I think, does that end the Oktoberfest? Is that it? That was 3 in 3 weeks.
I think so. I don't think I've seen another Oktoberfest party, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think the season actually does run into like the middle of October, so it is called Oktoberfest.
Yeah, you'll find Confluence all over the KC Center. We will be in the KC Center Friday for our show. Iowa Wild inviting us over to be down by the ice. I don't want to give too much away, but if you've always wanted to see Scott Sipker publicly embarrassed, please watch Friday's show. You'll enjoy it. Let's get some more.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Have no fear, the patio weather will be back by the end of this week. We're just getting a couple of days of fall, but then kind of late summer returns. And again, great times on the Either Or patio, but also great times inside. Made from scratch menu, handcrafted cocktails. The average date of our first frost in Des Moines is October 4th. Today is October 6th. We haven't come close to that yet. It is officially a warm fall right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amazon Prime Video has quietly removed artwork of James Bond after fans of the franchise noticed that 007 had been stripped of his firearm in all of the images. I know this happened in Great Britain. I don't know if it happened here or not. I assume it did. But the original artwork was replaced by stills from the Ian Fleming spy movies over the weekend following a social media backlash that coincided with James Bond Day on October 5th. Now, Prime Video declined to comment on the matter. Now, the Brits were really angry on social media. James Bond, that's their guy. You see how they've taken the gun out of his hand there. But they were angry on social media, but they also brought some pretty good British humor. Put other
Bond
things
holding a sub sandwich.
Yeah, other things in their hands, and then this gem. Let's go back to X here. This one. Well, the writing here on the top. They're saying that somebody was like, Sean Connery and Pierce Brosnan are implying that you're a wanker.
Yep, I see it. I think this is always a mistake. Changing the art of its time to fit whatever agenda someone has now. You shouldn't do it. I get why some people call for it, but Steven Spielberg himself did this with E.T. and came to greatly regret it and said he'll never do it again. He put out
walkie-talkies instead of guns.
Yeah, he put out a new version where the guy's chasing an alien who they know nothing about, is from another planet. They're going to be carrying guns into the woods. Yeah. But he ended up changing the guns to walkie-talkies, changes the scene, the drama, the tension, the feel, whatever it is. And he, to his credit, looking back on it, said, I made a mistake. And he's pulled that version of the film. And this kind of falls into it. It's James Bond.
Yeah. I mean,
we just take the gun out of his hand.
We've got a massive problem here in the United States. But I mean, the movies, they have the guns in the movies.
Yeah, he's an agent.
You don't change the poster and somehow change the whole movie.
He has a license to kill, and he can't kill with his. Well, maybe he can with his fingers.
More than 1,000 silver coins and 5 gold coins, and all worth about $1 million, were recovered from a 1715 Spanish shipwreck off the coast of Florida recently.
Kind of looks like me with a lot of hair and a mustache.
Yeah. He was diving at least. So this is like a shipwreck zone. It's kind of off the coast of Vero Beach and. The central part of Florida's Atlantic coast there. And it's a long coastline there that has become just kind of a treasure trove, literally, for treasure hunters, because at least 11 ships carrying some $400 million worth of gold, silver, and jewels sunk off the coast of Florida in a hurricane on July 24th, 1715. So treasure hunters have been searching for and recovering those ships for decades now. So every now and then somebody makes a score and a big discovery. It's awfully difficult to dredge the seabed like that. It's a kind of a big deal when they do discover something, but this was a pretty good score. We go now to the Moore photo booth for this pick from listener Imelda Concepcion. She's listening from the beach in Belize. Seems very relaxed. Thank you for the photo, Imelda. She's holding her baby. That's her baby's leg. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a baby's leg, and baby is sound asleep. She's just chilling on the beach listening to Murph and Andy. What did you think it was?
That looked like a version of a photo that Hassel has sent me too many times, and one of the reasons I was glad to turn my phone in.
That's
and
a really
scrubbed.
sweet picture.
It's a very
sound
sweet
asleep?
picture. Any relation to Dave Concepcion?
I don't think so. She's just there with her baby, just really relaxing, listening to the sweet sounds of Iowa everywhere.
I don't know what that says about me, that's not what I saw, but you're right. It was a baby's leg.
Well, Murph found this on the interweb. The Moore team brought it up.
I'm part of the team.
Back in the day, Sears and Roebuck, their catalog, they sold donkeys, $79.95 a piece. Friendly and shaggy, braised with gentility.
This is fascinating to me. You could go to the catalog and order a donkey and have it delivered.
Well, not just that. The Moore team took that cue and went deeper. Turns out not only did Sears and Roebuck used to sell donkeys, they sold all sorts of animals. They sold mynah birds, cats, hamsters, dogs, monkeys. You could buy a monkey. How often did that work out?
Right? Not often.
No,
bad idea.
Monkeys, seem like they're just like a little mini person. but they're really just foul little bastards, aren't they? I mean, just little troublemakers, right?
Yeah, they will
little
fling.
Instigators. They have just all
like
sorts
to
of
fling.
stuff. They do. They fling. They toss. We go now to X, formerly Twitter, for some truly fake news. They're calling this. Calling this a new Guinness World. They're calling this a new Guinness World Record for the longest fart.
This guy passed Mr. Murphy?
No. Despite the live audience and the play-by-play that's going on in Spanish.
No pares.
Still going.
No pares, está rompiendo el récord Guinness, no pares.
Yeah,
still going.
40 segundos.
You know this is fake news. They call the world record Guinness World Record. Nah, that was only 40 seconds long. That's nothing. Our audience knows better. They know all too well of Bernard Clemens, a.k.a. Mr. Methane. Minute. Actually, Mr. Methane has gone over 2 minutes before.
He's the king.
See that on X.
King of flatulence.
That's
By the way, the guy on stage doing the guy who did not set a world record, but they tried to claim they did. Andy, what's the proper way to handle this microphone after this event?
You pick it up by the base of the stand. You walk it off stage.
You're in gloves,
and you leave it there, and you don't touch it again. You just wait for the next person to come deal with it.
Oh, I think you throw it away.
Nah, the microphone will be fine, and somebody else can deal with it. Dr. Ernesto Lira de la Rosa, a clinical psychologist, has come up with a list of words and phrases to make you sound like an arrogant dick.
Oh, okay.
They include, obviously. I already knew that. Well, I already knew that. Okay. It's common sense.
Ooh.
Well, I shouldn't have to say this. It's common sense. When people say that, yeah, boy. Not to brag, but, and then, here comes the brag. How about this if they say, well, I wouldn't expect you to understand.
Oh, that's really condescending.
That's
like a Brian Kelly press conference.
That's aggressive. Yeah, it is. I don't have time for this. You go in there with like a complaint to your boss. I never have a problem with that.
You're the problem. Not the problem.
And then finally, no offense, but
let me offend you.
Prepare to be offended, right? And finally, we're going to try out a new segment here.
Oh, good.
More, okay. It is tentatively called Laugh and You're Going to Hell.
Oh, okay.
At a minor league ball game, an old woman won a free T-shirt. It was delivered to her at close range.
Ready? Fire it.
Here we go. Oh, ha! Lord have mercy.
Okay. She failed. Ha ha.
Ruby, you all right?
Get her up. Get her up. She's laughing.
Sure.
I'm not laughing. I didn't think it was funny. You two are dying laughing.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
I mean, it's AI, but look, the point is...
you're getting better,
point
though.
Is made,
the giveaway on that one is that the guy who does it just keeps looking at the camera smiling. Like he's...
Ready? Fire it.
Here we go. Oh, ha! Lord have mercy.
There's like recoil to that gun.
Doesn't somebody yell like, "Hey, Grandma!
Lord have mercy!"
Lord have mercy!
But she gets right back up. She's a tough old nut.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. That's your
tough.
more, everybody.
She's tough. She gets up faster than Rocco Beck. Time for throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Oh, yes.
Tire and Auto treating you like family in Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, Creston, and Ankeny. Andy, we'll start with you. What's more true for Iowa fans, or for Iowa? Fans should be optimistic that they've kept two good teams close and had chances to win both games, or they should be pessimistic because Iowa is now losing the kind of games that they used to win.
At this point in the season, what's the point of not trying to look on the bright side? It's still too early in the season. You got a whole bunch of season ahead of you, man. You got to stay checked in and say, look, we've been close. We can get more of this figured out. We still got time. You got to stay positive.
I agree with that because I think there was a time it looked like Iowa State would win that game against Iowa by double digits, and the Hawkeyes had the ball and a chance. It didn't go anywhere in the final minute. And Indiana, Iowa had to work to not win that game. I mean, minute 30 to go, it was looking good for the Hawkeyes. So I think there's things to be encouraged there, but a hard part is when it happens early in the season, then it's on the coaching staff to keep those guys emotionally engaged, and that can be a challenge, as James Franklin just learned at UCLA.
Yeah, that Penn State game looks a little more manageable for the Hawkeyes. Murph, the MLB playoffs are off and running. Which two teams do you want to see play in the World Series?
Good one. Well, I would like to see the Cubs or Brewers, but I'll say Brewers just because we saw the Cubs win within the last decade. I know that would be the best for us because there's the most interest in the Cubs, but it makes Andy cranky. So that's kind of tough to decide there. And the Tigers, maybe. I don't expect them in the World Series, but I don't need the Yankees, and it looks like I don't have to worry about the Yankees.
Yeah, give me the Tigers and the Brewers for sure. Tigers and Brewers would be good. One of those teams would get a World Series. Brewers or the Tigers have won the World Series before. The Brewers haven't.
The networks are like, do not listen to these two guys.
Yeah.
Do not give us the Brewers and Tigers. We want the Cubs and the Yankees.
They probably want the Dodgers and the Yankees in a rematch.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't they always want the Dodgers and the Yankees?
Yeah, you're right. L.A. They would want that L.A. market. Good point.
Andy, Saturday night, I went to see Adam Sandler at the KC Center. We had a really good time. Who was the funniest comedian you've ever seen in person?
I've seen some really good ones. Honestly, I think probably it'd be somebody that I was not like a big name, somebody over at the Funny Bone who opened for somebody else and just had a really, really funny, tight set that just kind of blew me away. Bill Burr was really, really funny. That was really good. He's obviously the headline, but he had an opener that was just great. Really, really funny. And I remember walking away thinking, man, that guy is probably too good to be somebody's opener.
As a kid, for me, it was Steve Martin, and I'm glad I got to see him because he stopped touring. I mean, he just got out of it. But I remember that. I have seen Robin Williams, and that was awesome as well. The recent years, Sebastian Maniscalco, I really liked him. Yeah. But the most I've ever enjoyed stand-up is probably more to Jenny because Jenny was laughing so hard, and it was Andrew Dice Clay, and not that long ago. But he starts doing poems and stuff like that. And
the nursery rhymes?
Yeah, the nursery rhymes and some of those jokes. She's like rolling out of her chair. And laughter is contagious. When you see somebody laughing that hard, and it catches on. So that's the hardest I've laughed. I think I was mostly just laughing at her laughing.
All right, that's Throwdowns.
Thank you,
Sandler
Andy.
was really good, though. Sandler was really funny.
It was a lot of songs, too, right?
Yeah, a lot of songs. Rob Schneider, not as good. The shtick didn't really work for him.
There was somebody else, too, from Happy Gilmore that was
I don't remember the guys, Lavelle or something. Yeah, there was somebody else, but yeah, Sandler, and the Farley song, it gets a little dusty in there when he sings that. Sure. And he was fun.
That's great. Send your Grimaldi's fan photos to Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. We need some new ones, so please send those in. And then we will give someone a $50 gift card to Grimaldi's Coal Brick Oven Pizzeria in West Des Moines and the District at Prairie Trail in Ankeny. $50 gift card. That is on Fridays, where we'll be over at the Casey Center for the Iowa Wild right by the ice. Time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day, and we do call it the AD Squared.
Yeah, it's powered by Game Day Men's Health. I've been going to the Ankeny location for about a year for testosterone replacement therapy. I recommend that you check it out either in Ankeny, West Des Moines, North Liberty. They're in the suburbs of Chicago now. Wherever you are, there's a game day near you, and they can help you out. A free consultation if you go in and have them check you out. I love it when broadcasters have a little bit of fun. They don't take themselves or the game they're calling too seriously. And last night on Sunday Night Football, Mike Tirico had a good moment like this. Josh Allen throws the ball away, it goes into the stands, and a Bills fan catches the ball and just sprints out of the stadium. And here's how it sounded.
Nice catch there. He's gone. Milano's going to go. He's in row 10. He's in row 15. He might get a beer. Milano, where are you going, man? It's your moment. Milano, row 40, led by Allen. He's going to take it the distance. Maybe it wasn't his seat. Maybe he doesn't want to be on TV. He's gone.
Do you think it was just he thought they would ask for the ball back and he wanted to go sell that football or keep that football?
I guess so, because I don't think they let you keep the balls in the NFL.
It's not like the Arena Football League.
Well, you remember that one guy jumped into the tunnel to catch one of the like a
greatest
field goal
catch of all time.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So I think they try to get him away from you, and he was like, "Screw that, I'm taking this ball."
Quickie poll results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
If your college football team had to pick one for all games, you'd choose day games or night games. 67% say day games. 33% would rather go at night.
Hey, thank you for being part of Murph and Andy here, sports and more on Iowa Everywhere. Don't forget to support the other shows. Overthinking coming up tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. Invite your friends to the party if you would. We'd appreciate that. We're back Wednesday. We hope you are too.